All right, everyone, welcome to the lunch break. This fine, cool Tuesday in Georgia. Hope all you guys are doing well. Look forward to getting you guys on and selfishly using you guys to get through my day as uh, you guys are using me to make your day a little bit better. So DP's Fishing Misadventures is on YouTube already. How you doing, buddy? Bearded Catfish, I see you out there already on TikTok. Guys, I tell you what about this weather? I'm telling you what, last night at my house, it was 69 degrees. 69 degrees in August in the state of Georgia. Now, something tells me we're going to pay for it here in a little bit. We will pay for it down the line, but I am going to enjoy this. It's coffee weather. Heck, I almost made me some Brunswick stew last night. It's almost chilly Brunswick stew weather. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well today. Lots that we can talk about. Love it. It'll probably be 102 next week, no doubt. What's up? Was able to put 100% of weight on my leg today. Still can't walk and waiting on MRI results. Coleman, I didn't catch how you hurt. Yeah, your power bill for sure. I know it loves it. And South Georgia, you just out of luck. I think we got the wedge. Our meteorologists say we have this wedge that comes down the Appalachian Mountains the back way, and that keeps us cool. And sometimes, traveling fisherman, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you joining us. What's up, James Ramsey? Coleman, I never heard exactly yesterday if you were talking about it. How you hurt your knee? How you hurt your knee? You're a young buck. You shouldn't be hurting your knee like that. So anyway, guys, got a couple of things. What's the topic? Chris Null today. So it's whatever you guys want. We're having bad storms around Charlotte today. Hate that, dude. Hate that. Stay safe. Stay safe out there. So like we do every day, here's the topic today, but we can go wherever you guys want to go. Okay. That's just the way it works around here. Danny, I literally stood up off the couch and my kneecap went to the side of my leg. So lame. No cool stories. Dude, Coleman, you got to listen. A man shouldn't lie except when he is talking about how he got hurt. Now, when you talk about how you got hurt, it's okay. It's just like a bass. You're holding a fish up. No, that's a 6-pounder when we all know it's 3. It's okay to make it a little bit bigger. You need to say something like you were fighting off a pit bull or something like that. Kickboxing Joe Rogan on a motorcycle. That's good. So here's the topics that we were going to talk about today. I want to know who your guys' favorite professional angler is, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a pro angler as in Bassmaster Elites. It can be NPFL, MLF. It can be all of that. But yeah, gets engaged and all of a sudden he's falling apart, Tony Collum. Listen, that marriage is going to get you. Seth Fighter. Well, guess what, Fish Nerd Labs? I talked to Seth Fighter. I'm going to get him on our Live Well podcast. I talked to him down at ICAST. So he is definitely going to be on. What I'm trying to do is let these guys get through with their with all their tournaments. Give them a break because, man, they keep getting pounded and pounded and pounded. And I try to be at least respectful of the fact that they're going from lake to lake to lake and all that. So we're going to talk about that. Whoever your favorite professional angler is, we're going to talk about video content, how you guys like to consume it, and whatever else you guys want to do. Defoe, Swindle's probably the most popular. He is. I'm working on him as well. Actually, I'm working on both of those guys you mentioned, Defoe and Swindle. So generally, I find that the off season is the best time to get those guys. Okay, because right now they're in this mode or they're burned out. Rick Clunn for his down-to-earth approach, Swindle for his humor. So, there you go. Those are perfectly great. Now, here's the name. I love Jake Lawrence. Very positive guy and incredible all-around angler. And that's kind of the things I wanted you guys to talk about. Like, why? Why is a certain guy your favorite? Rick is the best. Cool dude. Cool dude. So we want to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, like I said, I want to know how this is selfishly doing research here, how you guys pull in your content. What are you looking for? But we're going to do, as we all, the Hack Attack, Fisherman Feldman. There you go, Chris. More of the local guys that fish the same waters I do. All right, Chris, list your lakes. I'm going to write them down. List your lakes. So, again, you know how we start with this day in history to give you guys some useless knowledge. You're in West Virginia. Okay, well, let me write that down. West Virginia. I'll find out. We'll get some guys. We will get some guys. If this pen would write, West Virginia. Okay. I'll look into it, dog. But I appreciate you joining us from West Virginia. That's awesome. Um, on this, let's see, small waters, max 2,200 acres. So before I do this day in history, that's a lot of what we fish, Chris Noel, around here. A lot of electric only reservoirs. Got a lot of them. And going to be starting doing some film work on those as well for our FNGO page. Let me read a couple more. Clay Dreyer for his approach in life and how he has overcome his disabilities and faith. That's a good one. My favorite are the old guys like Hank Parker and Jimmy Houston. I got Hank Parker's phone number, and we will be reaching out to him. I got it through a buddy that fishes over on Clarks Hill, and I'm going to see if I can do something with old Hank as well. So a lot of good stuff coming, but Chris, definitely we'll check that out. So Mammy White is the best fisherman in West Virginia. Now, Chris Noel, have you ever heard of Mammy White? James Ramsey on Facebook threw that out there. Atlanta Outdoors. I like Zaldane. Love his vid versus the Guggen guys. He smoked them. And what's up, Casey Weaver? Appreciate you joining us as well today. Zaldane. Listen, though, don't you think now? I like Zaldane. Heck yeah, more of a singer and dancer is what he said about Mammy White. But I like Zaldane. But don't you know that his wife scares the absolute daylights out of him when she's talking? And I follow her on Twitter and everything. I guess I can still call it Twitter, X, whatever. And I've had some conversations with her over that. And she's very intelligent, but she is opinionated. So, okay, anyway, let's knock out this day in history. So you got some useless water cooler talk. You guys are going to love this one. In 1861, we're talking income taxes here, boys. In 1861, Abraham Lincoln signed the Revenue Act, which levied the first tax. Yes, I'm still drinking coffee, Dozer 21. I need it. The first tax on Americans to help fund the Union's Civil War effort. It was a 3% flat tax, listen to this, guys, on those making over $800 a year. So back in the day, in 1861, if you were making over $800 a year, Abraham Lincoln slapped a 3% flat tax on you guys or your ancestors to help fund the Union's Civil War efforts. I just found that kind of interesting. I'll have Emil back on. I talked to Emil the other day. And so anyway, I thought it was interesting. And listen to this one. Here we got this thing now where we're putting roundabouts everywhere in the state of Georgia. I absolutely hate traffic lights. I am pro roundabout. I don't know about you guys. Back then, 800 is like $1 billion today. No doubt. That's what I found it interesting. When I saw that fact, I went 3% on $800. So I hate traffic lights. I hate traffic, period, but I hate traffic lights. I love roundabouts. I think everything should be a roundabout. I know there's some people that can't use them, but trust me, they're faster than traffic lights. In 1914, what's believed to be the first electric traffic light system was installed in Cleveland, Ohio, at the intersection of East 105th Street and Euclid Avenue. So there you go. On this day, we got our first traffic lights in America and our first income tax. Tony says, I hate roundabouts because no one knows how to use them. They do work. Listen, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people do struggle with a roundabout. Now, go to Europe. When I was in Romania, and Josh is downstairs working on his van. He can tell you, here, if we have even a 2-lane roundabout, it really flips people out. Thought you quit dipping. No, I tried. I'm going slow, though. I'm going slow. It's still on the agenda. But appreciate, way to remind me there. They have like 8-lane roundabouts. 8-lane roundabouts. And so you got to fly in and work your way in to get out. Just stay on the outside lane. It's crazy in Europe. European drivers are absolutely, it's insane. Small town I'm currently in Alaska, there is no stoplights. I love the fact, dude, traveling fisherman, that you listen to us every day, or I see you just about every day on TikTok, and you're in Alaska, dude. From Alaska to North Georgia. That absolutely blows my mind. I love it. Let's see. They're putting a big roundabout at Shoal Creek in Dawsonville right now. I love them. I think we should require IQ tests for driver's licenses. Seems to be lacking for some people. And there's a lot. So we had a semi-truck just go over the center of the roundabout near me. Listen. Yes. Americans would completely shut down with an 8-lane roundabout. Those are 21s in Arkansas. Heck yeah, buddy. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's the cool thing. Now, I will say this. September 13th, the Traveling Fisherman is going to be back on the road to new adventures. Dude, I need to get with you off. I need to get with you off camera. I'd love to hear more about what you do. There's like 3 or 4 on 211 going towards Beaufort from Barrow County. They are way better than lights. That being said, here in North Georgia, we do have some people that are slow to adapt. Walton Doyle enjoying this lunch break at home, early day. Good for you, buddy. But yeah, Traveling Fisherman, I want to connect with you, dude. In fact, I'm going to connect with all you guys. I'd love to hear what all you guys really do. Shoot me an email, Danny@fngo.com. Danny@fngo.com. And then that way we can get to know each other, know what you guys are doing outside of just this short window of time that we have with each other. Might be able to collab with something. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm old, but I'm learning this collab. What do you think about the high school anglers in Georgia, Fisherman Feldman? I got a lot of opinions on that. Number one, I think the tournaments are way too damn big. That's just me. I think in high school, too, I think people talk about the haves and the have-nots. And when you get to be an adult in college, pros, hey, if you want something, go get a job, earn it, all that. I think in high school, I think that's where it really kind of stands out. Now, I'm not saying the kids aren't talented. You're not going to hear me say the only way they know how to fish is with live scope and all that. I'm not going to say any of that. What I do think is there are a lot of kids that would fish high school fishing. Number one, they don't have the boat. And so this is one of those situations where if your parents are blessed enough, and I don't believe in saying daddy's money and all that stuff. If your parents are blessed enough, because if I had something and I had the ability, I bought my kids what they needed. If your parents are blessed enough to be able to put you in a brand new bass boat with all the new electronics and all that, good for you. It's kind of the same as car racing. Good for you. I'm not against it. But there are a lot of kids that don't have that would love to do it. There are a lot of kids that, they just need the opportunity. And so I think in high school fishing, that's where it really shows is the opportunity is not the same all the way. I'm a coach in Kentucky. It's the same way here in Kentucky. We average 200 plus here. Just a lot of our buddies and high school kids come on our podcast. I believe the best business thing you can do as a fishing is to make friends with all these young up and comers coming up. Because number one, they can teach you a lot. They're good. Fancy boats don't catch the most fish. Gravely 89, you're 100% right. But it's getting the kids in a boat. I'm talking about kids that don't have a boat at all. And so that's more of what I'm talking about is they could fish. They just don't have the means to fish, and they don't do it from the bank. The whole goal as a coach is to give a kid an opportunity. You should. Heck, young boys beating guys that have been fishing for years now. I know that's a big topic of conversation. And I guess, hey, you know how this show works? We're just going to go down the high school route for a while. Over here on YouTube, just got out of high school. Tournament fields are way too big. Not going to be any better in college for me either. That's Cody Campbell Fishing. Coleman said, I think it would be awesome to have a high school kayak series. Would allow a lot more kids to develop some good basic skills. And a lot of kids, it don't have to be a fancy boat, just one that floats 100%. But DP hit it. A lot of kids don't have the parents to take them either. Now, let's take the economics aside. And talk about the ability to get in a boat so that you can participate. I don't know. Listen, my youngest, he's 23, so he played every sport in high school that, and from time him graduating to me talking to people now, the price to go up and everything, it's just gone up. I can still remember spending all kinds of money, and we did the travel ball route, biggest waste of money out there. I wish I had every dime I ever spent on travel ball. Absolutely the biggest waste out there. If your kid's good enough, he'll be found even in high school. That's just my thoughts. I've changed. I used to not feel that way, but now I do. You can get out there and blind cast Casey Weaver. I think Georgia Bass Nation High School needs to go to the Georgia Bass Trail route with 2 divisions, a north and a south, with a cap of 75 boats or so. They're great. I just wish they had high school fishing when I was in school. It was very new at the time. I just think somebody mentioned, I think it was Coleman mentioned the kayaks. See, here's the problem too, and here's why a lot of guys don't captain. I don't know if you guys know that. They're always looking for captains. The risk, the having to have the insurance, having to be responsible. That's a big, drawback for a lot of guys. They're like, I don't want to take kids out, something happen, and I end up getting sued. And so I understand that. The only problem with capping the tournaments is the pay to play aspect of most money will have the biggest advantage. That's true if you cap it. Cap it. The kayak thing is kind of like, I see the kayak thing as a possible solution, but Michael Temple 77, the liability portion. Now, you're not going to go up to Lake Lanier and stick 200 kids in kayaks on Lake Lanier and say, have at it, boys. Just to me, for the liability aspect of it alone. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Now, is it any more dangerous than football with concussions and all that? I don't think so, but it's still dangerous, and it's still something. And, I don't know what the solution is, but I know it's blowing up. Really wish I would have had high school fishing back in the day. Jonah wants to know, what problem are we trying to solve today? Got in here a little late. We're trying to figure out how to make high school fishing affordable and available to everyone. Needs to be on a small no-wake lake. Well, see, that's the problem. So here in Georgia, we have electric-only lakes that are no-wake lakes pretty much. I mean, they don't only Carrie Bell's got there's only one or two electric boats around here that actually throw a wake. High school fishing is cool, but 300 boat tournaments are rough. Liability is what kept our club from starting a junior club. And it's not an anti-forward facing thing. The schools need to supply the boats. Well, see, that's the thing too. I agree with that, Michael, but like everybody thinks in football, and I don't know if any of you guys ever had a kid to play football in high school. The money and all that does not come from the school budget. That's what the booster club is for. That's how they raise money for all that stuff. You would have to start a booster club in your high school, get enough money together to supply boats, which makes a kayak would be a lot easier. A kayak would be a lot easier, a lot cheaper. You get more kids in there. But my thing is launching all the way from Laurel is more dangerous. Everyone runs south anyways. Booster clubs bring in the money. Absolutely. And schools barely know what fishing is. That's true. So there's a lot we got to deal with. Now, high school tournaments on Lake Lanier and any big tournament launches out of Laurel Park. And if you're not familiar with Lake Lanier, that's on the far north end of Lake Lanier. You got to go through a very narrow kind of Chattahoochee River channel. And then once you get to the open water, then everybody goes their own way. It is dangerous. 100% dangerous coming out of there. And that's for the pros as well. Especially think about this, if you're a local guy, you put in, you just, hey, me and Junior are going to run up here and we're going to sit off this point. And all of a sudden, boom, here comes 200 bass boats right down that run. I run a club this is from Ryan on TikTok. I run a club called SETX Junior Anglers, 30 to 40 boat tournaments for K through 12, 3 divisions, K through 5, 6 through 8, 9 through 12. Ryan, that's pretty interesting. That's very interesting. Ryan, where are you running that out of, if you don't mind me asking on TikTok? Launching out of Laurel when it's 20 degrees is rough. Gosh, no doubt. Most parents look at boat owners and captains as the booster. Stay under the smoke. True. You're in Beaumont, Texas. Okay, so Ryan in Texas, that's pretty cool. And just in the comment section, if you don't mind, how's it working? How's it going? What's your attendance like? And I bet it's big in Texas. Let's see. There's a lot of comments coming at me today. Guys, if I miss your comment, type it again. It'd be cool to have more open non-high school tournaments where your partner has to be less than 18 or something. I could see a lot of issues with that, though. Yeah, but still would be pretty cool. High school fishing needs to be like archery. All the same size boats, motors, trolling, no forward-facing starter, make it a level playing field. Possibly. So Ryan says out of Texas, sister club is SWLA Junior Anglers out of Lake Charles. Between both clubs, we have about 100 kids. That's awesome, dude. Good for you. Good for you. That might be something we Georgia boys need to think about. Cameraman Cletus, we had zero support from Western Carolina in college. Even the schools that get it still aren't capable of raising that type of funding. And you run into the same pay-to-play aspect. More money, more problems. That is true. A lot of guys think, hey, every college that's out there, they got this big, huge NIL deals like they do in football and all that. Ain't like that. Not on most of them. Nonprofit and free-to-fish to tournaments. For members, all prizes are donated. Ryan, if you could do me a favor, because I'm interested in how you guys work, could you shoot me an email Danny@fngo.com. That's Danny@fngo.com. I'd like to talk to you more about that. Tyler, my kid is about to start middle school in a year. I have purposefully kept LiveScope off the boat until I feel he needs it. I think that's a good thing. I do think, and listen, we're not going to get arguing the forward facing sonar thing here because I'm not against it. I'm not against it. But I do think in high school, it would be more interesting to see what the results would be if high school didn't allow it. If high school didn't allow it, that way you're not getting, that's almost like saying a kid in baseball makes a team. This one gets to use the newest aluminum bat, but this kid who doesn't have the opportunity, don't have the money or the funds, he has to use the wood bat. I'm glad we are on this topic because I love hearing from other people and their opinions. Fisherman Feldman. Well, listen, active captain is 150 a year, and I'm learning. Stay under the smoke. The school tournaments will fall off in California due to the new muscle inspection nonsense. Hey, there's some states out this way that's got that. Shouldn't be allowed in high school. Focus on fundamentals should be the priority. And that's kind of what I was saying. I could see if you were going to ban forward-facing sonar, and again, I'm not for banning it. I'm not. But I could see two places you should do it. Maybe at the elite level, just to let them guys, and I'm even really not against banning it there. But I do agree with that high school. I think at high school, you got 4 years to fish high school. Throw them boys out there and let them go. Let them learn all the stuff. And then when they get into college, let them jump on the teams with, let them use it more then. Because there's college, you can qualify for the Bassmaster Classic by fishing certain college things. Dylan Akins did it, buddy of ours here at Fish North Georgia. But it would be interesting to see. It would be interesting to see what high school fishing would be like without it. Now, then you're going to get the argument though that these kids have the reason they have it is because that's the way their minds are geared up with everything. It's all technology. And at least with forward-facing sonar and high school fishing, you're getting them into the sport. I know somebody's going to make that argument. And it's kind of hard not to say that. I like the idea of forward-facing sonar not being allowed until a limit is in the boat, but that would be hard to marshal. It would be tough. I've had kids turn down boat captain offers if they didn't forward-face have it or be allowed to use it. It's laughable. See, and that's a problem too. Forward-facing sonar needs to be seen as a tool, not a crutch. That's what I fear is going to happen at some point. Don't mean to sound like Randy Blockett. Now, you're not. Keep being the squeaky wheel and representing the sport, Cody. That is from cameraman Cletus. Let's see. Eric said Hartwell with Bass High School this year is going to stink. MLF pros will be there at the same time. That's tough too. Gilmer County doesn't have a fishing team anymore. There was a guy on here the other day that gave me a name on who to contact so my son can fish. If you're on here again, please throw that name out again. Thanks. How much would it change? How much would high school fishing change? And how many of those kids would you lose? Also wild how them Lanier fish bite still as beat up as they are. Lake Lanier is a different beast. It's a different beast. And again, see, this is why I love this show. I came on here thinking we were going to talk about our favorite professional angler. But all it takes is one comment, boom, and we're going down another rabbit hole, and I love it. And we can stay on this. I can tell you this. If I were the director of high school fishing in the state of Georgia, and I'm not, but if I was, they would not have forward-facing sonar. That's just me. It's going to happen in Kentucky, banning forward-facing sonar. This is seriously coming. Why would I do that? Just because I do agree that because of the economics and all that involved in the popularity of the sport, I think that number one, get more kids involved. Because let's be honest, if you're in a good lake, every school's got one or two kids that are absolutely crack demons. Great. They're great with it. They end up winning most of the time. I would just like to see what it is, and I think you should use high school as the platform to teach kids the fundamentals on the other stuff, and then you don't have the Randy Blockers of the world fussing that they haven't put their time on the water. If you just got to learn it. I get it. I understand that. And listen, but if I just said if I was running it in high school, I would say that. I'd say wait to college, get to it. I could be 100% wrong. I just think it would be interesting, and I think more kids would learn the fundamentals. The thing with forward facing sonar, not everyone can afford it, so you got to get it, and some can't. That's why it needs to be banned in high school fishing. That's from a fella in Kentucky. All right. It would have to be nationwide. If not, the ones that do it, ban it, will be behind the ones that don't want to get to college. Now, see, here's where I kind of disagree with that a little bit, Eric. Here's where I disagree with a little bit. I'm not saying they can't fish with it in their off time. They can't learn it. They can't use it. They can't use it any other time. I'm just saying in the tournaments, your cream's going to rise to the top. If you got talent and you can fish, whether you got forward facing or not, doesn't matter. But I just think in high school, now the one thing too, though, there's a problem is that, you're raising money outside of the school. It's kind of hard. I mean, I get it. It's one of these things that there's no real right or wrong way to do it. One thing to consider too, if they don't allow forward facing in high school, that's just a tournament where they, a couple of days a year where they still can brush up on their forward facing sonar skills outside the tournament. That's what I'm talking about. Outside of tournament, and listen, I know guys that fish with them jokers in tournament, and they suck just as bad on tournament day as they do when they're fun fishing. And I'm talking about adults. I know them. I'm one of them. But I think it would be more interesting in high school if a kid's going to, let's just take the Clark Hill thing that just happened. The high school national championship or whatever it was on Clarks Hill. 250 boats, I believe, were invited. I don't know how many of them got to fish. What would the leaderboard look like if you had to actually go and grind out for those bites? I'm not saying it'd be the most fun. I'm not saying it. I'm just throwing out a possibility here. I still haven't figured out why the price of forward-facing sonar is always a big deal, but nobody ever speaks about the cost of other gear that give an angler an advantage, like rods and reels. There's rod and reel combos that cost nearly the end of low-end forward-facing sonar. That's true. That's true. But guys, especially us old farts from the 80s, I mean, we didn't have the best stuff. We figured it out. I don't know. Y'all still doing the Tuesday night Live Well podcast with multiple people on the podcast? Yes, and tonight we do the Tuesday and the Thursday night. Tonight at 8 o'clock, we got Dylan Filardo. Did I say that right, Cletus? I've been practicing his dadgum last name. Owner of Talking Tackle. He just won up at Chesapeake Bay, fishes opens and all that. He qualified for the Bassmaster Classic, and he's going to be on tonight with me and Clint. Run a half and half with and without it. I agree, but that's going to be hard to marshal. We had an episode a couple of years ago on a podcast where I had a guest who was accusing some high school kids of cheating. And I had a lot of people come out of the woodwork to just absolutely blast us for allowing him to speak. But then I said, and I will not say exactly what I said, but I gave them some things that I knew about off record that had been said where they had bent the rules a little bit and they were fine people. Now I'm like, if fine people are willing to bend the rules a little bit, think about the dad that's not that fine person. But it is, there are so many different opinions on forward facing sonar, and you're not going to get a consensus. The technology is not going nowhere. I think the weights would have been lower, like 8 to 10 pounds a day. Don't know if the winter changes though. Okay, Cody Campbell, I'm glad you said that because that's what I want to say. And Tyler says keep scope allowed, makes it even better when you beat people with it. If you put the work in, you can win without it. I agree. I'm not talking about the technology itself. I'm just talking about the opportunity. Just in high school. In college, let it go. Let it rip. In the pros, let it go. Let it rip. Whatever you guys want to do. You guys can do whatever you want to do with it. I'm not against it. The goal is to get more kids fishing. The goal is to grow the sport. And if that's what it is there a kid or 2 or 10 or 20 that wants to fish that go to these tournaments and they keep getting beat by the same 10 kids? Does that discourage them? Does that run them out? I don't know. I would say if it was one of my kids, I'd say get better, beat them. You got to beat the best to be the best. Not everybody's like me when it comes to that. I don't know. There's so many different variables with it. But high school fishing is here to stay. No doubt. And I like the fact that we got guys from other states talking about the way they see it. Lighter boats, fish spots, heavier boats can't. That's true. That's true. We can find something in every single aspect of it, from rods and reels the forward facing to the boat itself, you know, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. We can find a way to pick it apart. COVID grew the sport more than anything. Well, we must need to call them boys overseas and tell them to throw another bug our way. Those same 10 kids will probably still finish on top without it. Alex, I would say yes on 80% of those. I would say yes on 80% of those. But I would say there's a few that may not. Todd Huntley, 14,000 high school fishermen. Go live scope in anything. No live scope in any. That's a go live scope in anything else out there. Facts. I'm not quite sure if I'm following what you're saying there, Todd. Make that caveman proof. That's what Josh says around here. For the dumbest guy in the room to understand what you're saying. Why sevens outdoors? Why high school only bass fishing and not saltwater? I ain't got a clue, bro. I ain't got a clue, but that's a good thing. And I'm sure there's got to be something out there for those guys. I think they should all go brim fishing. That's the kind of tournaments we need for high schoolers. Give them a Zebco. Give them all Zebco 33s, a tube of crickets, and a pencil float and say, have at it, boys. James Hall. All right, here we go. As a high school tournament director, I think these kids just love it. I have seen some disagreement, but I think across the board, most organizations are doing a great job of keeping kids engaged and fired up for the sport. All right, James Hall, if that's what's happening, man, kudos. Absolutely. We're playing a little devil's advocate here. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going anywhere, but it would be interesting. Would you be able to keep those kids engaged and fired up without it? That's the question I got. And I assume you would be able to. I assume that is something that you would be able to say, yes, we can. And if that's the case, good for you. Have at it. It's just, it got brought up today and we're just going down this rabbit hole. And that's probably why I'm not the director of high school fishing in the state of Georgia. Actually, here's what we think it would be interesting. And I've had guys talk about doing it with with guys. Live scope does help take the home field advantage away around 40 to 50%. Steve Broom 101 on TikTok. Different lake. I agree with you on that. See, we can find positive and negatives about it and on everything. And that's why I love this. We're Switzerland. We're neutral. We're for everybody. You guys bring your comments on here. I'm curious to see if forward-facing sonar has any long-term impacts on fisheries, specifically populations. If so, I can see it going away. That's the only way, in my opinion. The only problem with studies, Cody Campbell, is you need somebody that's neutral doing the study. You need somebody that's neutral doing the study and not biased in any way, pro or against. And also, too, long-term. I mean, what is long-term? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? I don't know. I don't have a clue, but it'd be interesting to find out. Jonah says, I love fishing, and I don't even use 2D. I know, Jonah. You're one of the few. I love that kid. I have forward facing on my boat and don't use it much. I like old school fishing. I'm not against it, but I think it needs to stay out of tournaments. Young people need to learn the basics. True. I wish more people actually read studies, says Fish Nerd Labs. 100%. And that don't just stay in fishing. That's in every aspect of life. Seriously. Somebody sees something on a Facebook reel or TikTok or something, and it becomes fact because they heard it, and that's it. And Invasive Lure says, I wish more people could read. Amen to that right there. Alex says, check out Bassin and Biology with Thad Moody Outdoors. He's out of Mississippi, right? Jeremiah's got one. You guys, what is the dumbest question you've gotten from someone who doesn't fish? Mine probably is if the fish dies right when it's hooked. I don't know. Let me think about that for a second. The dumbest question I've gotten from somebody who doesn't fish about fishing. And you guys can chime in on that as well. What's the dumbest question you've got from someone who doesn't fish? I get dumb questions from guys who do fish. I mean, they do. Maybe trails just need to do 2 divisions, one with and one without, fish the same time. That's a possibility, Eric. There's a solution out there somewhere. And you know what? There might not need to be a solution. Maybe everything's perfect. All I know is it's popular, and them tournaments are big. The thing is, even if it's biased, if it's pushed as animal rights activists, politicians, and anti-FFS guys will go against it. True. Do fish feel pain, Chris Burrell? Yeah. I've actually been asked that, but it was more so by a child. So I can't really consider that a dumb one, but that is a question. Dumbest question I've got: are you going fishing? This is great. I've had more fun listening to all these comments as a coach, learning a lot. Fisherman Feldman, that's all we're here for. Our goal is to help you guys catch more fish and have fun. You need to watch the live wells Tuesday and Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We get a lot of great guys, and it is geared. Our whole show is geared. Whoever we have as the guest, and sometimes we don't, but we go through the comments and we try to answer every question, and we debate some things. But at the end of the day, we're trying to build a family of seriously, like a family. The FNGO family is what we call it, of just regular dudes like us who have opinions, who may not. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. I would like to talk with me offline. I don't owe you money, do I? If I don't owe you money, I will. Email me, Danny@fngo.com, and we'll figure out a way to get in touch with each other from there. All right. DP's fish. Oh, let's see. Cameraman Cleese. Oh, you fish tournaments, so you put weights in them to make them heavier. Yeah, that's one. And what stinks is 2 years ago I had to have it to compete in the BFL. Now it's banned half a day. Steve Broom. Yeah. Hey, worlds are changing, man. Worlds are changing. Don't get me wrong. I think the technology is fantastic, and I also think it's one of the most infuriating technologies out there. What is the trick to setting a hook with a hollow-bodied frog? Now, is that a serious question, or is that the question you got asked? Because I've had that question to me. And my only thing is, you know what? Wait a second. I can help with the frog question. Serious question. Okay. So the easiest thing is, I think a lot of guys are just like everybody else with a buzz bait, with top water. When they hear that kabloosh, they immediately set the hook. But with a frog, you got to give it a minute. You got to get your line tight, just like invasive lures is saying. Reel down, wait till you feel the tension, take up the slack, then rip it. Cross its eyes, but the biggest part is that patience. Dozer 21 says wait on a 2 count. But that's the big thing is a lot of guys, and it's very hard. The second that they give it the business, Derek Spicer said, that's right. I always love that NFL guy. That referee, when he threw the flag, about 28, he was giving him the business. But yeah, give him the business. But the biggest thing is having the patience to wait just a little bit. Gosh, I don't know how many buzz baits have flown by my head because I could not be patient enough. Just the second I heard that caboose, that toilet bowl, whatever, I set the hook. Frog is even more so. But get it tight, and I mean cross its eyes. Dakota Eber said it best. People just need to go fish how they want to fish and not worry. I like that about what everybody else does. And I do. I agree with that on the whole. As a whole, I do. But you know what? We got a lot of people in the conversation today just because we brought up high school fishing. That's where it works. But at the end of the day, just go fish 100%. We were at Chateau the other day fishing a pontoon boat with a grown man driving drove between us and the bank. I threw my hands up and showed him all the water behind us. We both had rod and reels in our hand, and he asked us if we were fishing. All right, now you got me on that, James. You got me on that. That might be a dumb question right there. How about this, Jeremiah? When I'm at the airport with a rod tube covered in fishing stickers, they ask what kind of musical instrument, pew pew, or whatever is inside, or they ask if you're going fishing. That's the basic question. That you guys fish. You guys fish. If you're standing at a lake or you got a rod and reel in your hand, or I've had people come in to the shop here, and you walk in, it's nothing but fish baits. They'll walk around for about 5-10 minutes, and you can tell they're from out of town. They don't know what's going on. Then they'll come up to the thing. I guess this is a fishing store. You think? Yeah, absolutely it is. Atlanta Outdoors. Dudes breaking limits with crappie probably pose more of a threat than bass. We're talking about forward facing again, but crappie are on the food chain for bass. TRF had a biologist talk about it too. He opposed Tyler's viewpoints. Interesting. Crappie fishing is where it all started. The dumbest question I've got is why I don't eat bass out of a nasty body of water. Yeah, I guess so. That's one I've had a time or two. I had that happen with a spinnerbait, came flying back and hit my knuckle. Had a bruise for 2 to 3 weeks. That's the biggest thing with a frog or any type of baits. Now, there are a lot of guys out there and I fished with them. And this is the best advice they give. Gone fishing with Ed. What's up, buddy? This is the best advice that they can give when it comes to top water. Throw it, get your slack in, start working it, and turn your head. Turn your head. Don't be looking for that blow up. Don't be looking for that. Hear it, feel the tension, then boom. Fish Nerd Labs. I ask everybody why they aren't fishing barbless. Shots fired. All right, there you go, guys. So on TikTok, Fish Nerd Labs wants to know why you guys ain't fishing with barbless hooks. But hey, listen, that is a big thing around here in the trout world. I know. I did a podcast with O'Neal Williams, and if you don't know O'Neal Williams, he's had O'Neal Outside TV show. He ran a show on WSB and he might still be doing it. He tried to retire, but I think he's back doing it because Mac Farr got sick and he had to take back over. Because I got to weigh them. That's what Dozer said. Because I want to catch more fish. Those are answers to that, Fish Nerd Labs. But he actually, couple things. Stay focused, laughy faces. I love it. Couple of things, though, he said. He agreed with fishing barbless. And on a spinnerbait, I always thought this was weird, but on a spinnerbait, a lot of us use trailer hooks. We use those trailers that come out. He always said turn those facing downwards. He had a reason why, and I don't remember it off the top of my head. But he was absolutely convinced if you're going to throw a trailer, which you should, he said, on a spinnerbait, always face it down. That's just his stuff. But he was right there with the barbless hooks. Now, absolutely, a lot of you guys would lose 50% of the fish you hook without a barbless hook. With a barbless hook. So would I. But in the trout world, them guys have to learn to keep them pinned and use your equipment. Doesn't mean they get every one of them in, but that does happen. So that's an interesting thing that he's throwed out there, barbless hooks. I don't use barbless because I'd be danged if an 11-pounder is going to come off and now I got to go jump on his back to catch him. So I should rig all my spinnerbait trailers upside down. That's just what O'Neal Williams said. That is not from Danny Pruitt. I don't want to see a TikTok of me saying, hey, guys, you need to do this. That's not from me. That's from him. He's old school. Let's see. Fished with a fisherman at work. Let's see. First time I heard that jig zip past my ear, scared the daylights out of me like that. That's how so Fish Nerd Lab says, that's how I learned is fly fishing. And the technique for playing the fish carried over. 90% of the fishermen were like, so let me tell you something. Here's the thing about fly fishing. And you guys in the comment section, if I miss, I'm trying. Well, there's a lot to talk about. I like throwing a weightless wacky worm. 100% my favorite bait year-round is a weightless wacky. But I've seen guys throw them jokers with 5/0 hooks and all this stuff. And can you catch a fish? Yes. But from fly fishing, if you can catch a 25-inch brown or rainbow on a nymph that's so small that you can't see to put the line through hardly, okay, barbless, and you can keep a big fish like that pin, I thought, well, why can't I do that with a wacky worm? And so I use, if I can get away with it in most cases, I'm using a number one or even as small as I can get away with. Number one, because I think it imparts more action. And so my bait looks more natural. But number two, don't be telling them about the wacky rig. And Traveling Fisherman says, I use barbless in some spots up here in Alaska because you have to. Yeah, it's a requirement in a lot of places. But number two, I feel they're going to be more apt to hit with the smaller hook, get more movement on my lure. I just got to keep them pinned. As long as I can keep them pinned. Now, what you're not going to be doing is boat flipping. You ain't boat flipping with a number one wacky rig hook stuck in a 6-pound largemouth or a 3 or 4 pound spot. You got to have a net guy. You got to be able to use a net. What's O'Neal's favorite spinnerbait skirt color? You know, if it was on that podcast, I don't remember. Do you know, DP? Any color? Okay, yeah, any color so long as it's charting white. That's true. Heavier hooks will mess with the worm's action floating down. So that's what I believe. But the thing is, going fishing with that, I learned that from fly fishing and just watching what those guys were doing. And now I'm like, Number 2 owner mosquito hook on my wacky rig. KJ Outdoors 0423. 100%. Can't beat a Cinco on a number one. Stay focused. I don't know if you mean can't beat a Cinco on a number one. I hope that's what you're saying because that's what I like. Let's say, but yeah, you're right. Chart and white. And again, guys, beat. That's right. You're right. 100%, dude. I agree with you. Stay focused. Now, O'Neill, we come up with a chart in white. We talked about this before. Chartreuse does not look yellow to a bass. Remember that. That's the one thing we have learned here. Chart is just bright white because why? Bass don't have the blue eye cones. That's what we've been taught. Now, whether it's true or not, I've never asked a bass, but that's what they tell us. Chartreuse is not yellow underwater. They've got a different mouth, Jonah said. And listen, a hook's a hook. You can get it. Neighbors look at my kayak with rods and the holders, and they go, "You fishing that thing?" That's back to one of them dumb questions right there. I get it. Atlanta, they asked me if I fish with all my rods at the same time. Alex Purr's got one of the nicest setups. I love it. How did your weekend go with the chicken rig? Never thrown it. Alex was on there. Once I got used to the kayak and floating around and being I got to be careful what I say on TikTok, a chunky fella on that kayak, I did pretty good with it. But I will tell you this. For you guys that don't know, I'll pull it up, just a picture. And I don't have the hook because a guy came in here and I gave him my last 3 hooks. So your worm looks kind of like this. You got a nail weight in the bottom, weedless right here. The hook's going to be like almost Texas rig, but the nail comes out. The line comes out about right here where my hands are. So this is what it looks like. So it's sitting on the bottom of the water like this, just like a Nico, but weedless. Those largemouth that we caught out of Latham absolutely had every one of my hooks back in the back, which I did not expect. And it had nothing to do with me going, I think that's a bite, and then letting them run with it a little bit. It's almost like they were coming up behind the worm and just sucking it up in there and getting that worm all the way in the back. Every hook set was deep. To the point where it even concerned me a little bit how far back. And I got to thinking in my head, am I not feeling them? What am I doing wrong? But it was like that on every single one of them. So we did good, didn't get to fish a lot, but kudos to Alex because back on the forward-facing sonar, I don't have it on my kayak. But when we got out to a spot in Latham, he's like, dude, there's fish all around us like that. And I don't have it. So I would cast it. And there was one time Alex was like, look, there's 4 big ones falling it down. And I couldn't see it. And it was like, I'm living from Alex. But dead, on the bottom, 20, 25 foot. Didn't catch anything really shallow. Dead on the bottom, 20, 25 foot, fishing very, very slow. Very slow. I had a 1/16 ounce nail weight and letting it go all the way to the bottom, keeping my rod up about at a 45, and I'd pull up a little bit and I'd let that thing fall on a slack line. But when they hit it, dude, I'm telling you, they sucked that joker in. And it was fun. Now, this is, Dave Aldridge showed me the chicken rig, and he fishes it over at Gunnersville because of all the grass. It's a good way to get a Nico presentation down in the grass without getting it gummed up. But over here on Lanier and on all these lakes over here, if you got rocks, if you got brush piles, you can put a Nico right down in the middle of a brush pile when it's rigged chicken rig style. You can go deep in that thing. But it doesn't matter. It works everywhere. You can throw it anywhere that you throw a shaky head, you can throw it. It's just a different little bit look. But the biggest thing, Gunnersville is gummed up. No doubt. Gunnersville has more grass than a man should be allowed to see in a lifetime. Think the shallow fish are up there to eat and the deep ones were just down there hanging out. I don't know, Jeremiah, because like I said, I didn't have forward facing, so I wasn't watching their reaction on everything. But I can just tell you that when they hit it, man, swoom, they absolutely just engulfed the thing. Didn't have anything hooked on the edge of the mouth. Everything was deep. Dozer was there last October. We were there, I think, in October or something. How do you put the hook in the chicken rig? Oh, man, I gave that kid my hook. So, first of all, VMC makes a Nico hook. At the top of that hook has is a chicken rig, a Texas rig baked with a nail weighted in the head. Pretty much, except, watch where I'm telling you, where you hook it makes all the difference. So first, VMC's got, and let me make sure I get it in the camera, where you tie your line right here, right past that is like a ball stop, like this rubber stop, and it's got 2 pieces of fluoro coming out of it. Those fluoro are to hold it in place. Okay. So you take your hook, and so here's a Zoom green pumpkin blue accent color wacky worm. God, I wish I had one of my hooks. So about a third of the way down, about a third of the way down, you take, and this is where you put your hook in, and you pull it through, and just imagine you got your line all the way through, and then you push the line tie back up in there, and those two pieces of monofilament, they catch right there. And then from here, you just Texas rig right back into it. So instead of having your Texas rig like coming from the end where your hook is all up here at the front, now you're in the middle. And so it sits like this in the water. Let me make sure I got 10 cameras looking at me. Dave says, sounds like I need to rig it again on the show. Dave is the one that got me into this. Dave's on YouTube. David, listen, I'm doing good. I'm doing the best I can. But that's what hook size? I used a 2-aught Nico is what I was using the other day. Dave, what do you normally use since you're on? But that's the way it looks. Now, Dave had me do that over at Gunnersville so that I could fish a worm in the grass and have it weedless. Can you show us tonight, Danny? Yes. I'll show you tonight on the live well. Actually, what I need to do is Dave made a video for us that is on a drive that we just found again. And it is basically how to do the chicken rig. I need to do that. I need to get that video out there. But that's the way it sits, guys. I mean, it's just sitting there like this in the grass, in the brush, whatever. Dave he uses a 2-aught finesse Nico, and that's what I use. And it's a VMC, I think, because if I got him, he gets them. Traveling Fisherman says he uses the 1-aught Nico, but you're still getting that basic Nico presentation like that. But now you're weedless. I don't know why anyone, honestly, after throwing it, I'm doing good, thank you. Honestly, this is honest truth. And I love wacky rigs. So you have an exposed hook, even though I use the smallest I can get away with. I don't know why anybody would use an exposed hook Nico when they can do the chicken rig. Because it's the same thing, and you can put it in far more nastier places than you can with an exposed hook. You toss that chicken right on a spinner or a bait caster. You can do either, but boys, you know me, it's going on a spinning rod. And I got my cast. I'll tell you what I had on the other night. Cast 12 braid, that X12, 12-pound braid. And I had a Seaguar 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. I'm a little bit different in that I use a much longer leader than a lot of guys do. A lot of guys, they'll go the length of the rod. 10-pound braid to 10-pound leader. Would it work? Yeah. Yeah, it'd work. Guys, you can throw it on mono. I don't care what you throw it on. Just got to get it down there. It'll work. That's just what I throw it on. I got it on a Spro laser rod. And on that one, I've got the Abu Garcia spinning rod. That's what I like. Spinning rod, medium heavy, very important. Dave Aldridge says. So that's the way I throw it because he taught me that. But I mean, if you just want to throw it, just get it in the water. But he is right. Spinning rod. And what a lot of guys don't know about a spinning rod, thanks, something other than a shaky head I can toss now. I've gotten to where I don't toss the shaky head near as much going fishing with Ed. Open hook, you just lift the reel to set the hook. But I'm guessing with a chicken rig, you actually have to set the hook like a shaky head. Yes, Farmer says the exposed hook has a more exaggerated action. The chicken rig is not as much action. It's not, but I can put it in places. You can put it in places. What was the daggone question? Somebody had a question. I had a thought, and man, I saw that comment. And it made me lose my thought. But as far as setting the hook, yeah, you set the hook. Let's see. I run a medium extra fast spinning for my wacky and trick worms, the Traveling Fisherman. Good choices. Dave, I can tell you right now, Dave's throwing it on a Falcon rod. But the biggest thing is to me is being able to put this in places. It's almost like the exposed hook thing too. Same thing with a fluke. I think a lot of guys Texas rig their flukes and work them, but if you nose hook it, the action's better. Might not be as good. It's good for Latham because of all that grass on the bottom. True. Alex says, if you don't like the drop shot, it's an option. I saw a guy basically free rigging a wacky a while back. Maybe something you'd like, Danny. I might try it. I'm willing to learn. I am old, but I am willing to learn. You guys remember that from the movie Stripes back in the day? We are willing to learn here at FNGO. Here in a few minutes, you guys on TikTok too, it's going to daggum. Oh, well, that's the leader. I'll get back to that. But I'm going to have to reset or try to resume the live here in a second because it does it every time. I use a long leader because if I can touch the leader, the fish and the fish spits, the hook's still a catch. Oh, I get what you're saying. That's cheating. You know why I use a longer leader? Honestly, because even though I can tie the Alberto knot with the best of them, I still sometimes don't trust my knots. And the faster I can get that knot onto my reel, the more confident I feel. Berkley Mag Hitworm has become my go-to worm for a Nico and a chicken rig. Can't go wrong with the Berkley Mag Hitworm. It's one of the few products Berkley puts out that I'm like, yes. Dave, I love Falcons. I have 4 of them now. They're my favorite out of everything I have. For those that don't know, our buddy Dave Aldridge, he loves his Falcon rod. Let's see. Mike Geiger, I need to learn that lake better. I don't know. The NC Bass Puller, I'm sorry if I missed your comment over there. I'm not sure what lake you guys are talking about unless it was Burton. Ever use a surgeon's knot? Dude, I don't even know what a surgeon's knot is. I am not going to come on this thing and be the expert and tell you I know how to fish and tie every single knot. Because number one, I can. I got fat fingers with sausage hands that did heating and air for 25 years before we got over here at FNGO. And when it comes to tying these knots and all that, I got 3 knots I use. I got 3 knots that I use for everything. Improved clinch knot for everything. The Alberto knot for braid to fluoro, and polymer knot for drop shot. It's pretty easy. Not sure if it's good, though. I don't know, be honest with you. I know, listen, some of these, have you fished Lake Burton? I'm sorry. No, I have not. I have not fished Lake Burton. I know a lot of guys that have, and it's on the list for 26 for me to get out there and fish it. Clear lake, though. Very clear lake. FG, here we go, Brendan Glover. I knew we'd have an FG guy pop up in the comment section. FG knot is the best knot for braid to fluoro leader. I cannot disagree with you. You are probably 100% right. The problem is, Brendan, I don't want to have a PhD to tie a knot. And I feel like you have to have a PhD to tie the knot. Actually, you just got to be really – my hands just don't work the way it used to. But I tried to tie that knot so many times that I can't get it right. The Alberto worked, and so I stuck with it. Now, for those of you, the SK is easier, Dozer said. Same knots I used to catch slot reds besides Alberto was using a swivel. Now, for those of you guys probably on TikTok don't know, but you YouTube guys know. So, young guy used to be on the show with us, Eric Beasley, tragically passed away in a boating accident. Buck Clark, I'll get right back to your question. But he always tied the FG knot. He always tied the FG knot and all this. And right after he passed away, I had a tournament. And I was sitting up one night because I can't sleep before a tournament. And I'm like, you know what? In honor of Eric, I'm going to learn the FG knot, and I'm going to tie it. I sat from 1 a.m. to about 3:30 a.m. trying to tie that knot. And I said, Eric, I love you. I looked up. I love you, bro. Wish you're still here, but the heck with that knot. I ain't doing it. Can't do it. On the water, it's almost tough, just like Alex said. DP's got a roll. We'll see you tonight or tomorrow, buddy. What's the difference in a size 2 hook and a 2-aught? A 2-aught's bigger. So in general terms, you got a 1, a 2, a 1, or is it 1 or 2? A 2 is the smallest, then a 1, then a 1-aught, and then a 2-aught. I think I'm right. But a 2-aught's bigger than a 2. Size 2 hook is small, very, very small. But that's the biggest thing too with that FG knot, especially if you're on the lake and it's windy. But some of them guys got it wrapped around their toes, around their head. Have to have tension on this. 20-something wraps this way, whatever the other way. It's just a lot to do. There is a chance the FG might be better, but will I ever need it? And I haven't found that the Alberto knot will not fail you unless you tie it wrong, which is about 99% of the knots out there. You're not an improved clinch knot won't fail you if you tie it right, if you spit on it and don't burn your line up. But some of you guys know some knots, and it gets even worse in the fly fishing world because they've got knots for knots. And you have to tie this knot to be able to get to that knot to tie this knot. And at that point, I'm like, dude, I'm just going to tie it like my shoes, So that is what it is. 1-aught will work, but with largemouth, he prefers the 2-aught, and he loves the FG. Because, Dave, you're bougie. You're a bougie bass fisherman from Gunnersville. Gone fishing with that FG knot here. Listen, y'all are snobs. If you tie the FG knot, you're a snob. And I'm just kidding. I just can't tie it. I've tried it. I know my limits. I can't do it. I wish I had the talent and the skill to be able to do it successfully. It would be fantastic, but I can't do it. My fingers just don't work. But when you have pulled flex and used hand tools for 25 years and all that, you eventually, like if I'm driving, my hands go to sleep, much less trying to tie a knot that has all this intricacy in it and these wraps and these wraps. And guys, if y'all saw my Alberto knot, there's a reason why I don't make knot tying videos for our channel. You don't want to see my knot. I know, like with the Alberto, you're supposed to go 7 this way, 7 back. Well, if I'm being honest, it might be 9 that way, 7 back, 6 back, 6 that way. I don't care. As long as it looks right eventually, and I spit and I pull it through and it's tight, hey, and it holds, it holds. The FG knot is the only knot I cannot figure out. I feel like an electrician trying to connect things, 100%. And tying an FG knot in a kayak, getting wind blown in the around and getting blown around in the wind is impossible. See, that's what I'm saying, and that's even in a boat. Jeremy Concrete says, I use the uni knot. It's quick and easy. I need to learn all these knots. Eric uses a double uni. But listen, I know they make tools. If you have to have a tool to tie a certain knot, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you, like, seriously, 7 down, 7 back is supposed to be simple as can be, right? That's supposed to be as simple as it can be. But if I put a camera on my knot, especially if I'm tying it the night before a tournament while I'm watching Girls Gone Wild or something like that at 3 a.m. on TV, you know, not really paying attention to what I'm doing, it's the ugliest looking knot. But now when you pull it tight, it looks like the prettiest knot you've ever seen. YouTube, Chris Zaldane, that's why I learned it. So if you guys want to learn the FG knot, Dave suggested going to Chris Zaldane's YouTube channel, and he can do it. If I break off during a tourney and I'm in a rush, I'll use the uni to uni knot. Perfect. Dozer, not if you want to keep talk. I must have missed a comment because you're saying something about toes. You're saying something about toes. Last time I talked about toes, they banned me. Small fishing, big catching. Hey, boss man, what's going on, buddy? How are you? So I use the Alberto knot just because it's not as time consuming. And guys, when I first started tying these knots, this is no lie. Brendan says, I prefer the FG just because it runs through the guides better. It's definitely not a fun one to tie. And toes to tie a dang knot. That's what he's saying over there. I agree with you, Brendan. It does. Now, Real Michael says a Palomar knot for me. Let me ask you this. What knot do you guys use if you're going straight braid to something? If you're going, say a frog. Say a frog, big glide bait or something. What knot are you using to tie straight braid? He definitely uses the FG knot, but just hate it. That's it. Let's see. Casey Weaver said, I've only tried the FG a few times and can't ever get it right. I use a 6 to 8 turn surgeon's knot or a double uni, sometimes the Albright. The Alberto is the most used knot in my arsenal. Topwater Scott says trilene. The trilene knot. Okay, so he's talking about that. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Palomar for straight braid. Topwater Scott says the trilene knot. I got to check these out. See, I learned something from you guys. Dang, you get banned for taking a deep breath and a medium-sized sip of water on TikTok. I know. I got to be careful. Another small fish and big catch, and Palomar not always. So, again, that's going braid. Well, he says to everything. Traveling fisherman, double uni when saltwater fishing. Darian Moss 22. Good old fisherman's knot that everybody's papa taught him. Never lets you down. Amen, Darian Moss right there. Alex says Palomar knot. Alberto knots don't fail very often. I still tie a Palomar knot. Cody, what is the double San Diego jam for swim baits? I've heard that. Listen, and I'm going to be honest. Even though we're on YouTube, we got a channel. I don't spend a lot of time watching a lot of other people's YouTube content. That's what we were going to talk about today, but we never got around to it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I need to start watching more. But guy comes in and he says, I like to tie the double San Diego jam. And I just look at him, I go, I bet you do. Homeless fisherman does the San Diego jam so hard. I got to learn it on YouTube. Oh, so Cletus is over there. The key is after 22 wraps. Listen to this crap. The 22 wraps, cinch it down good using some inline pliers. Then do your 2 overhands. Cut the line leader, then 6 overhands, uni on top, finish with 2 more overhands. FG is what I just explained, by the way. If you have to have a PhD to follow instructions to tie a knot, it just might be too bougie of a knot. But I hear the double San Diego Jam a lot, and generally it's from a guy that comes in here, and I know it's going to sound bad because it's a lot of my fly fishing buddies and all that come in here and talk about it like that. Danny, you mean you don't watch Randy B? No, Surgeon's not. Dozier says, no, I don't. He says he can tie it in less than 45 seconds. It's easy once you get it down. Well, sure, but guys that come in here, they got the long beard, and listen. To my Alaskan buddy up there, my traveling fisherman, I see in your picture, you got the beard. So I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about these guys that come in here from North Georgia. So the beard comment is not towards you or any of you guys that got long beards. I'm just saying this is what happens a lot in here. They'll come in here. They got the flat brimmed hat, rope hat. We got the big old beard and all that. And we start talking about knots. And every single time, I mean, every single time, they say, I tied double San Diego Jam. All right, so now there we go. So listen, I'm going to go ahead. All you guys watching on TikTok, I got to do this every day. It just said my live's going to end in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. All retired Navy with the San Diego Jam. So due to inactivity, which we can't figure out, all right, complete the verification to continue your current live. So I'm going to get up. I'm not going to wait to the end. I'm going to get up and see if I can keep this thing going. You guys keep talking on YouTube for a second. And let me see if I can actually keep this TikTok going. If it clicks off, I'll start another live. You guys come back. There's a lot of you guys on it. I don't want to lose you. But I'm old, and it is crazy because you're here. I don't know what inactivity means. So you guys keep talking on YouTube. Give me a second to go over to my TikTok camera and see if I can resume it. Because it says complete the verification. I don't know what the verification is, but we're going to try to figure it out. I'll be right back. And in TikTok, if I end it, I'll start a new live. You guys come right back. Oh, me. That ain't it. We're going to try to scroll down, scroll up. It ain't letting me do nothing. Oh, hell, I can't figure this thing out. So anyway, what we'll do is, guys, we'll just, if it ends, it ends, and I'll start a new one. You got to get verified. Email them. All right, I'll do that. We'll do that. So it's probably going to go away. So anyway, in 3 minutes, it's going to take off, and then I'm going to turn right around and hit live right back again. So you guys join us to keep the talk going. Clint, what made you, what's talking about? I see Scrounger in the comments. Try commenting back on TikTok. I don't know, bro. Listen, I don't know what to do with it. We got this special camera that Josh bought, and on top of the camera is a phone. Looks just like a phone. I can go live on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Yeah, you just have to comment back. Shit, do I got to do it from my phone? I don't know how to do it. Let's see. Hold on a second. Now I got to go get my phone, guys. Just looked it up. All right, so all right, I got to go get my phone. I'm learning on TikTok right now. Hold on. All right. Or just tell them to get on YouTube because it's better anyway. Well, yeah, I mean, you guys can always jump over on YouTube, but let's do this. Let's just do this here. So let's pull up TikTok on my old phone. All right. I got to find myself, so I guess I go to my profile, right? How the heck do I find my own live? You guys tell me how to do that. You guys are watching what happens when old people get a hold of technology. All right. So I hit the live button. Well, I'm on live. It says go live. Add a live go. It ain't letting me do this. I don't know what to do. Anyway, so I'll probably just start over. Everybody's laughing at me. Top left. The top left. All right, so okay, back on that. Back on that. Profile. Top left. All right, I'm on the top left. It says find friends. What's the YouTube's name? FNGO. You guys can switch over to FNGO, and good grief, now I done closed my TV on this other side. So anyway, now I'm back on that. Is it the same? The live button. I hit the live button. I did exactly what it told me to do. I hear Jeopardy music in the background. Everybody's laughing at me. somebody needs to come up here during the show when this happens that knows what in the heck they're doing and do that. But again, 45 seconds, I'll get up and try it. If it makes me start a new live, I'll turn right around and start another one. So you guys come back because we're having a good conversation. I hate that it gets screwed up. We are laughing with you. Y'all are laughing at me. Ain't no laughing with me. You're laughing at me. I know how it works. But you can just come over to YouTube at FNGO. But anyway, guys over here talking about scrounger heads. So if you guys want to keep the conversation going on YouTube about scrounger heads, 14 seconds, I'm getting ready to possibly be able to. YouTube view is nicer. It is nicer. You like that YouTube view? It's a better camera. I'll be right back. Well, it kicked them all off. Crap. So anyway. All right, small fish and big catch. And Jeremy, appreciate you joining us over here. It is a different look. It is a different look. Man, I had 38 people watching me on TikTok. Now I lost every one of them. That stinks, but hopefully they'll come back. Have any of you tried the little finesse scroungers? Clint wants to know. And the real Michael, he's there from TikTok. Appreciate it. Fish, some of them are coming back. Fish Nerd Labs, I seen them. What I need to do is I need a young kid to come in here during the lunch break and show me what to do on that camera so I don't lose everybody on that. So what are we talking about now? I spent the last 5 minutes trying to figure out TikTok. We were talking about the FG knot. Pulse fish does make great. If we're going to talk about scroungers now, absolutely. Pulse fish makes a fantastic scrounger. I'm not saying there are other scroungers out there that aren't good, but the ones I like to throw is the pulse fish ones. And so what was the conversation? A half-ounce hog farmer scrounger, Cast Echo 7.2. That's what he was talking about now. And listen, absolutely, that's great. With both these lives going, makes you look like you were watching a tennis match with your head going back and forth. I know. We got to figure, there's a way to get the TikTok onto this, but we ain't figured that out yet either. Can one of you guys explain a scrounger head and how it works? I've seen them, but I've never tried them. So take a jig head, like, and then it's got this piece of plastic on the back of it. Generally, it's clear, and it looks kind of like that. Okay, so this is the jig head. We tie your line, and you like these real high-tech graphics we got going on right here. The real Michael, never even heard of a scrounger. What is it? So it's a jig head with a piece of plastic, and the plastic is generally cupped across the top. Now, when you throw something out, what it does is, if you can imagine that coming through the water, it imparts a wobble. It imparts a wobble. This is why I love this podcast, because it's real. Hey, Doc Holliday, you can't get no more real than what we are here. You can't get no more real. I mean, if the power goes off, it goes off. If the cameras quit working, it quits working. It is what it is. But a lot of guys will take that scrounger, and there's a bunch of different ways you can work it. I will say this, and this is just me personally. Similar to a chatterbait with a big trailer, but more silent, less intrusive presentation. It still gives good vibration. And that's what Cletus just said that in the comments. And that it's right. He's right. A mistake, and this is just to me, basically a scrounger turns a fluke into a finesse chatterbait. The big key is you don't want to put any type of trailer on your scrounger that works against the natural motion of the scrounger itself. So generally, you're going to be putting a straight tails type fluke, straight tail minnow, something like that. That's just me personally. A lot of guys I've seen put a paddle tail on it. Well, it's like that's working again. That paddle tail on the back, it's trying to wobble this way. Your scrounger's trying to wobble another way, and I think it messes it up. That's just my take on it. No boot tails, farmer said. So there's a lot of guys that feel that way. But I tell you what I like to do with the scrounger, and I do it over here on Latham. I like to get a heavier one, kind of like Clint's talking about. And I like to put a full-size Zoom fluke on it, the super fluke, not the regular fluke, the super fluke. I like to parallel a couple of the ledges and stuff, that what we call a ledge, some steps or anything over at Latham. I will chunk that thing out. I'll let it go all the way to the bottom. You can cut fish finder value guide. You can cut the boot in. You can, if that's all you got. But I will slow roll it. I will slow roll it just fast enough for that scrounger to get that wobble going and let it make that fluke. And, I know this is, again, highbrow, things, but the fluke's in there just kind of doing this on the back. Get that good wobble, and I'll slow roll it right across brush piles. When they're on that, it gets hammered. It gets hammered. Spunk shad's a good one. 6-inch shimmer shad bait works good on them. Cody Campbell says try the Dave's bait scrounger with a little spunk shad and the tail flows like a real pretty fish cool bait. It's all about that action. If it's cloudy outside, I throw a solid white fluke. Nothing more, nothing less. Or dark. Solid white fluke. Chunk it out all the way, slow roll across the bottom. If we got a lot of sun, I'll go to a disco green, disco violet. Heavier is better when it comes to a scrounger. Control the depth with the retrieve and boat position. 100%. The Cast Echo is my go-to with the Pulse Fish jig. Absolutely. See, those are all really good choices. But now here's the thing. Again, I'm about to cough. You guys ever realize how hard it is to talk for an hour and a half straight? Not knowing what you're talking about? Bass Mooch makes a great straight tail minnow. Body is ribbed like a kitech. The Sonar Shad would have a better profile, but I don't even know if that's serious. You can put anything on the back of them. But if you got a scrounger in your head, even if you got a half-ounce one, and they come up bust us, guess these don't work on trout, Porter says. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not a big one like we're talking about. Now, maybe for a big brown trout in low light conditions on the Chattahoochee River, Toccoa, private water, it could. Excuse me. But if they're busting the top, especially if you got a 1 ounce, 3/4, you got a heavy one on, bomb that daggum scrounger right across into the top of that school, and then just burn it across the top. You'd be surprised how many spots I've caught when they were schooling over at Latham. I'll be sitting there and I'm slow rolling. And I'm trying to catch the largemouth down deep, just slow rolling almost to the end of my retrieve. And all of a sudden the spots are blowing up. They're blowing up. Derek Porter, Jeremiah says it does work on trout. He's over on the YouTube side. And all of a sudden I see him breaking. I'll just bomb cast that thing over in there. Boom. Questions. What rod, reel, and line size for the Pulse jig? George Thornton said. Dadgummit. The Japanese have developed scrounger worms. I'm sure that would work too. You need a Venus Cam remote app comment. Well, it went away. Put that comment back up because I'll send it to you later. Oh, Josh said it. Okay. Doug, I'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock. What do you guys throw in your Pulse jigs on? Because I throw mine on my rock crawler rod, my Spro rock crawler rod, which is my crankbait rod, which I also use for a jerkbait rod, which I also use for a scrounger rod. And the reason I do that is because I'm slow rolling it and I want that bend. Same as a crankbait. The Japanese scrounger worms in bright colors designed for stream trout fishing, I mean. All right, so if you want to use that, you can definitely do that. But I don't know what the rest of the guys are working. But anything with a straight tail on a scrounger will impart that action. Jerkbait rod, Fred Ashcraft says. I like my chatterbait rod. It's a Falcon 7.6, medium heavy, medium fast. The bigger scrounger, Clint says he's throwing on a 7.3 Alpha Angler chatterbound. It's considered a cranking rod by them. He's talking about the Falcon 7.6, medium heavy, medium fast. I think you got to use it on some type of rod that's got a little give to it, because it's like anything else. I mean, you're reeling, let the fish load it up, because the way you rig it 99% of the time, I would say everybody else is the same, is you got the exposed hook. 7.4 to 7.6 medium heavy mod, 6.1, 7.2 gear ratio. Now, I will say this is where, not because on purpose, but because I'm different with Farmer, is I've got that JC Elite reel from Spro. You want some glass, some bend to it. So I throw that Spro reel, JC Elite reel on it, and it's a 5. It's slow because it's meant for cranking. But I like throwing my scrounger really slow. Yeah, we're still talking about the scrounger. I don't know how we got onto the scrounger, but here we are. It's just where it went to today. Uh, we've talked about high school fishing. This is why I love this show. I was going to talk about your favorite angler. Who's your favorite angler? And then we were going to talk about content, video content. We've talked about high school fishing, knots, and now we're on a scrounger. Mine is a St. Croix Legend Tournament flip chat crank. All right. Um, but anyway, I mean, that's just the way this show rolls. Now, Fish Nerd Labs, way off the rails. Hey, listen, Fish Nerd Labs, we go way off the rails if TikTok wouldn't ban me every time I said something. That's what you only get on the live well. Hackney's his favorite. Yeah, we might want to wait till tomorrow. We'll be talking another hour and a half. And I asked, well, you know what? I mean, I don't have to do another live until 8. I can go all day. I really could sit here in front of this mic if people showed up and talk all day. I just can't get into glass rods. Too heavy for me, or maybe I'm just buying the wrong ones. I don't own a glass rod. Not against it. I just don't own one. The reason I say 6-1, 7-2 is you can slow down or speed up if needed. I just don't have a choice, farmers. That's what I'm saying. It's just that rod and that reel. I got it on every. I mean, that's what I throw it. If I want to speed it up, yeah, I don't have that option. I wished I did, but I didn't put it. The reason I didn't put it on another rod and reel combo is because of that. I figured, hey, you can always go try to speed it up a little bit, but I wanted to slow it down because I like throwing it on that big fluke. But it's like everything in fishing. There's really no right or wrong answer. Now, some people will tell you there's right or wrong answers, but it's like a lot of people think you make a bad cast. You can't catch it unless it's in the water. So if you're in the water, it's not a bad cast. It might not be exactly where you want it to be. One guy can use this rod. One guy can use that rod. What ticks me off about rod manufacturers is you can have one company and they says this is a medium heavy mod fast. And you can have another company that says medium heavy mod fast. Put them side by side, two different rods. And then you got a third company over there, medium heavy mod fast, and it's a third different rod. There is not a universal standard for what makes a medium heavy whatever out there. And I don't even know if you could do that, but that's why I'd never ever buy rods online. Just won't do it. Got them here at the shop when I do have them, come in. Everybody loves to come in and take a rod, and they like to take that tip, put it down, and bend it. And they're bending. Then they'll hold it up and they'll shake it. Depends on the spine. See, it does. It does, Fish Nerd Labs. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's just one company's is different than another company's that's different than another company's. And it's very, very tough sometimes to guy call up. He goes, what do you think about this rod? Do you think it would be good? And I'm like, well, I don't know. What do you like? What do you like in a rod? The more things I can do, I'm not a guy that loves I don't have a specific rod for every single possible scenario out there. So if you can give me 3 or 4 rods that will just go and do everything, I'm fine. Learning what rods go with, what baits is a whole new learning curve for me. Real Michael. Listen, Real Michael, you know what's funny? I own a tackle shop. I got a pretty big podcast, a lot of followers on social media, and I'm learning it exactly the same as you guys are. And I think that's why what we do here works. The guys in the comment sections and all that, they're the experts. The guests on the podcast, they're the experts. I know just enough to be dangerous. And sometimes that can get you in some trouble. St. Croix Tournament Legend Glass is my favorite glass rod. I'm more buyer friendly. Oh, it's more buyer friendly than the Mojo Bass glass. Same blank, just different components. Yeah, I can see that. Thing is, companies base the power off certain fishing lines and whatnot, kind of like how some reels have certain capacity based. Oh, I got what you're saying, Jonah. He's just saying basically they base it on something. But he wants to know in his opinion. Type that again, Jonah, because I don't know what in the world you're trying to say. Casey Weaver, I started building my collections of rods this year. Well, they're like golf clubs. Now, Tim Hancock, when he came on, I had him on, and people, when they ask him, why do you have 37 different rods? He said, well, why do you play golf with X whatever amount of clubs there are out there? So I don't know, something particular, but I'm not that way. Give me 3 or 4 rods that will do a couple different techniques, and that's all I go with. I've had luck doing the same thing on Lake Kiwi with a pulse jig. The NC Bass Puller, I don't know exactly where that comment, that's from up above, I'm sure. I'm telling you what, today, guys, good Lord, the comments have been busy. They've been busy. So I'm actually going to have to wet my whistle. I might have to take a nap. But anyway, you guys watching, seriously, traveling fishermen, all you guys, again, don't forget to email me, dude, Danny@fngo.com. That goes for any of you guys. Fish Nerd Labs. You're taking a long lunch today? I shut the shop down. And then it's closed as long as I'm talking. But even you too, Fish Nerd Labs, I'd love to hook up with you guys, talk to you guys off camera, and just kind of find out a little bit more about you guys and see if we can collab, do some stuff together. Big thing is a brand of line. Certain fluoros have more or less stretch, and you can get away with less or more backbone depending on what you use. Yeah, for sure. Listen, I can't. Oh man, see, that's the thing is I had a great saying that I could say that if we were only on YouTube, I could say it, but because of TikTok, I can't say it. It's raining all outside. Us outside workers got time to be on YouTube. Well, you can keep talking if you guys are going to hang around. Jeremiah says, I got 43 rods because I use almost every technique between freshwater, saltwater, and fly fishing. I think to cover everything, I need 80 to 100 setups. Jeremiah, that's probably true. But I guarantee you get the right country boy, and he can do that same thing with 8. Now, he wouldn't be as good as all of them. I get it. I understand what you're saying. 100% I understand what you're saying. I mean, you're not going to be driving with a 7-iron, but you could play a whole course with just a 7-iron. You can. If you gave me a 7-iron and a putter and a wedge, I probably could play the entire golf course. You stick a daggum driver in my hand or something like that, all the other options, and we're going to be drinking a lot every time the cart comes by. I don't know why TikTok's so sensitive. It's because its computer algorithm listens, and if you say certain things, I hit that thing. We don't want to do that from yesterday. It catches you. And I've already been banned twice, so I don't want to get another one. I'd actually love where Fish Nerd Labs, where are you out of? I'd love to know where some of you guys are from, and you can put it on YouTube. TikTok don't like you, Danny. I got my lovers, and I got the ones that don't like me. I guess TikTok's just on there. Good to listen to when running equipment all day. If you guys would pay me, I'll sit here and talk to you. I keep you company all day, every day. It's the only superpower I got is I don't shut up. South Carolina, about 45 minutes south of Charlotte. All right, that's cool. You ain't that far away. You're not that far away. Go right up 85. I can be to you in a couple hours, few hours. Except that daggum traffic now. Right there at the border of Georgia and South Carolina, right there around Lake Hartwell, for some reason, you're stuck in it. Miles and miles of stuck traffic, and there's no wreck, no nothing. I don't know what it is. I think when you get into South Carolina, no, I'm not going to say that about IQ points. We don't want to do that. I want to keep you as a friend. Norman and Wiley are your home lakes, and Waterwee, I guess that's what I'm wanting to say. How to say it. Yeah, good afternoon, Diehard Anglers app. TikTok don't like country boys. You think they wouldn't be able to understand the word I say? The St. Croix Legend Tournament is one of my all-time favorites, though. If I could just run the full lineup of them, I probably would. The Mega Bass Levante line is great, too. Bottom Line Outdoors is from Fort Polk, Louisiana. Dude, I love it, man. I'm telling you what, I love getting you guys. Everybody here in Georgia is probably bored of me. So I like getting some of you that new blood from out of state right there. Atlanta has the worst traffic to drive through, though. Listen, Atlanta traffic starts around Griffin. If you're coming from Florida and you're coming back home, right around Hampton, the racetrack and all that, you're stuck in traffic for the next 2 hours. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You know, we're building all them nice new on-ramps and all that. That's where your tax money is going to. I believe some companies rate their products with braid instead of mono. I don't know. The IQ doesn't start dropping until you get towards Greenville here in South Carolina, Darian Moss said. You know, listen, I will admit to it because my daughter, she's a college professor in North Carolina, but she's over near the Virginia line on the far end. You know, nobody realizes how long of a state North Carolina is. It is a long state. She actually lives in Virginia, drives about 20 minutes into North Carolina to be a professor at a college. I will admit that driving through South Carolina, right about the time you get to Greenville, from Greenville to Charlotte, North Carolina, I do believe that there's something does happen to a man's. I'm not going to say his IQ, but I will say that you tend to zone out. You tend to kind of like, ugh. So bad. So you guys drive 85 up through South Carolina. You know, somewhere right towards the North Carolina border, there's a big tower that's a peach. It's a big old peach. And you guys will know what I'm talking about. If you drive that, you guys got to know what that peach is. Gaffney. Okay, is that where it's at? Fish Nerd Labs? Gaffney. Okay. This is how dumb I was one day. Aaron Parker, what's up? Now we're just going. We're talking. What the heck? Got nothing else to do. Ain't like I got jigs to build and stuff like that I need to be doing. We'll keep talking. I was driving up 85 one day, and I'm sitting there, and I got the Van Halen blaring and all that. Gaffney Peach. Well, that Gaffney Peach was sitting there one day, and I'm like, it's middle of the day. I'm like, damn, that moon's bright. I was like, from a distance, I was like, what in the world? I honestly thought it was the moon. Now, granted, I had contacts back then and they were dirty. I'd had stuff all in them. So I wasn't actually looking as clear as I could be. But I thought that thing was the moon at first time I saw it. You can build jigs and talk. All right, well, tomorrow I'll have jigs and stuff out here. I'll be tying jigs. I can do the skirts and all that, but I have to get I'm a vice user. I don't do that freehand stuff. I ain't that talented. We talked about fingers. So I mean, I can free tie a jig and I can do everything with my hands, but it's just not as good as if I put it on a vise, brrr, boom, I'm gone. I can crank them out. But don't tell Farmer that I can crank out jigs because I owe him some more jigs. I gotta finish Aaron's. I believe Aaron this year I'm tying and I'm doing them, finishing it up today. I believe you ordered some Farmers jigs that I got tied. But I did. Listen, I'm not lying to you, Fish Nerd. I honestly thought for half a second, that was the moon. Then you turn right at Charlotte, and then you kind of get your brain back. It's just so long going up through South Carolina. And goodness heaven forbid if you turn and go to Myrtle Beach, which I haven't been to Myrtle Beach in forever. I need to go. I used to enjoy going to Myrtle Beach, but it's been a hot minute. So, all right, so let's see. With all that being said, I think, let's see. Yeah, that's a long stretch of nothing. It is. It's kind of like my love life. I hope my wife ain't watching that. Casey Weaver, I'll get you some too. Just let me know what you want. I got to finish the ones that I've got ordered. I had to get some more heads and all that. The traveling fisherman's giving me an eyeball. Yeah, seriously. Hey, I've been married 30 years. 30 years. There are times where there is a long stretch of nothing. And what we'll do is we'll make a code word of that. It's just driving through South Carolina will now be code word for those long stretches of nothing in your marriage. I just want to go to the coast and catch and eat seafood. What's the turnaround after an order is placed right now? But honestly, 2 weeks. But I'm almost done with yours. I'm catching up. That's just because I had to get more heads. And so I got some more heads in and all that. So that's the only reason. It normally I can turn it around in a couple days. But I had to get I have a guy that pours my heads. And so I had to get some more 3/8 heads in. I could pour them, but it makes it a little bit different. We used to pour all our heads. And then it'd be easier if I let somebody else do it because he's got one of them, I don't know, what them spinny things. You know what I'm talking about? They can shoot about 20 or 30 at the same time. South Carolina roads are like driving through the desert. So is going from Macon to Savannah. I-16, Georgia's got a section like that. Is it 16 or whatever it is? My Lord, don't ever run out of gas there. I just bought an entire arsenal of living rubber jigs. I'll have to buy some from you and get my silicone skirts in stock. Whatever you need, dog, whatever you need. But yeah, there's places in this world where you just, am I going to offer a 5/8 ounce? Probably not. Probably not because there's just not the demand. I don't have a mold here that does a 5/8. And if I get this guy to pour, he pours Yeah, 16 is what it is. He pours 100 to 200 at a time. You know how long it would take me to sell 5/8 ounce jigs around here? It would be forever. Forever. Yeah, so you guys know what I'm talking about. 16 in Georgia is just like going through South Carolina. And listen, God bless my wife. Oh, that's the Coosa River secret. It's a 5/8 ounce. Well, it ain't a secret now. You told me, dude. You don't let me know anything. But she has to ride beside me. And I don't know about you, but I'm a poker. And so about every 10 minutes, I'm over there and I just poke. And you know, guys, exactly where I'm poking. Makes her so daggum mad on them big, long trips that by the time we get to wherever we're going, she can't stand me. Looking for a new lithium battery, 12/7 for running my inverter to power my Starlink. Opinions. I forgot you're in Alaska. So to power your Starlink, new lithium battery. I tell you what you could do. You could go to Sonar Pros and ask Trent Palmer. He would know. He's local around here. He knows everything about lithium batteries. What is that brand he uses? You got Farmer. You're on there on YouTube. What is the brand that Sonar Pros pushes? They're good ones. They're good ones. I can't remember. But that's interesting going to use to power your Starlink. I always forget you're in Alaska, dude. That is like amazing. I want to go to Alaska so bad. Amped Outdoors is a good one. Casey Weaver used to live in Savannah. And also, too, I mean, I guess you buying online. Do they not have lithium battery places up there in Alaska? And that's a serious question. I don't know. He doesn't know what it is, but this is on that 5/8. You catch 3-1 over half any day of the year, especially spring through fall. I would imagine just the current, dude. If you're on the Coosa River, there's a lot of current. That's how I live and fish all over the country. What are you driving around in? You in a Sprinter van or something like that? Just out of curiosity, because my partner here, he's got a Sprinter van, and he's setting it all up for us to start doing remote stuff and everything. And of course, he films all over the place. Oh, you do it in a Dodge Durango? Heck yeah, baby! Iconic Battery has gotten a mention over here on that. His wife is a travel nurse, Danny. Oh, your wife's a nurse, traveling fisherman. Listen, they do well. Travel nurses do well. Hey, Farmer, I'm curious what power and action rod. Okay, you're talking to Farmer up there. Powerhouse. That's it. Powerhouse. Powerhouse Lithium. That's the ones that we know most about. So Powerhouse Lithiums. They're good. That's pretty cool, dude. Dodge Durango and you're gone. I like it. I like it. How old are you? That's a big thing. Now, at 50, they do well when they don't have a fisherman as a husband. So I got a daughter that's a nurse. And a lot of people tell her she needs to be a travel nurse because they make good money. Dude, you're 52? Okay, listen, I'm 53. I was thinking you might be one of these young bucks. That's a young man's game. 52, getting to travel the country, fishing everywhere. That's all right. That's all right. I like it. Atlanta Outdoors, been on that road many times. My wife went to school at Armstrong. I was at GCSU in Milledgeville. So we're back to 16 right there. Listen, 16 is just, that road is just ridiculous. But there was a convenience store on that road somewhere that had chicken livers. It was one of them stores that had the little fried chicken place in it and all that stuff. And I remember stopping and we were heading down to Savannah. And listen, I can be on the most strict diet or whatever in the world. You put a good fried chicken liver in front of me with some ketchup and some hot sauce, and I am going to stop. Not so much gizzards, but straight up chicken livers. I love chicken livers. And that little store it's in Dublin, Fred Ashcraft. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody wants to go to Buc-ee's. They want to go buy them a beaver thing or whatever, some beaver nuggets and t-shirt and get them baby clothing and deer corn all in the same spot while you fill your cart with gas and all that. Good for you. I'm all for you. But I will drive 50 miles out of the way if I know a convenience store, and I know convenience store food, right? If they got some, Church's Chicken has them. Listen, if they've got some jam up chicken livers, this boy's going. I rely on the longevity of the batteries when I use Starlink doing my live shows while fishing. You need to get with my buddy Josh, my partner here. In fact, he's right above you, Joshua Michael McKay. He's bought some, we have Starlink and all that, and he's bought some lithium stuff for his Sprinter van. And you and him might be able, if you message him, he might be able to give you a lot more information on those kind of things than I can, because I know nothing about them. With a battery, I just want it to absolutely turn the thing on. Buc-ee's is a tourist version of a Walmart plus a gas station. I'm telling you. Nah, Stripling's is where it's at. Danny eats anything, cow brains, hog brains, now fried catfish bait. Give me mom and pop gas station food all day long. Listen, hard to find good chicken livers. Top 5 meals for me. If I'm on death row and they give me 5 things, you guys are going to learn a lot about me with this right here. And you get 5 things to eat before they pop whatever it is they're going to pop in me. First off, it's going to be a Quick Trip jalapeno and cheese hot dog with ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, onions, nacho cheese, and jalapenos. Okay, very specific. It's going to be that. It's going to be a filet mignon steak cooked medium rare. Okay, that's my bougie food. It's going to be fried chicken livers, 100% fried chicken livers. I want some really good Chinese food / sushi. And then my favorite is back on the hot dog thing. This is nasty. My wife hates when I do this. I'll take 3 or 4 hot dogs. I'll put them in a bun. Put some cheese around them. Put them on a plate. I'll take a whole can of pork and beans, and I'll pour that whole can of pork and beans on them. Then I'll take an entire onion, cut that onion off, half a jar of jalapenos. I'll take some squeezed cheese and go across the top of that, and then some ketchup and some mustard and some hot sauce. That right there, my friends, that's a good time. That's a good time. Seafood gumbo made from a true Cajun is good. Yeah, now listen, and I should say red beans and rice would be put on that list. Most places overcook chicken livers. I'm about to get sick, so for sure you'd eat that live shad. I'm telling you, if you guys will bring if somebody will bring me a live shad, I will eat it. I will try it out. Can tell he was an HVAC man working on the go. Oh, listen. When I found my first jalapeno and cheese hot dog at the Quick Trip, I was in heaven. And I hope the good Lord has those things up there. You can't go wrong with a jalapeno and cheese, a good jalapeno, whether it's a brat, whether it's a hot dog, whatever. You can't do it. That's the best food. What do you mean ain't no way, Jonah? Parker stores in Southeast Georgia have great chicken livers. Are they already cooked? Because his chicken liver ought to be its own food group. Number one, now listen, I'm telling you, he'd be the first man to have prison food and enjoy it. Well, let's just say I may or may not have experienced some food at not a prison, but certain locations. It ain't that good. It's kind of bland. But I like to take chicken liver. I'll take some butter, melt some butter, and put some onions and some garlic in there and do that little saute thing like I'm Gordon Ramsay and doing all that stuff. And then take chicken livers and dump it in there. And then I'll take some seasoning and throw across top of that and just cook it till the chicken livers are done. They're not even fried. And I'll eat that. Ron McQueen, got your text. Sorry, I meant to call you. I was going to call you this morning. We'll get together next week. Boiled crawfish, love it. I'll suck the brains out of them things. I wish I could still eat jalapenos. My heartburn starts just smelling them. Jeremy, don't be weak, my man. You got to go down in life. You got to stick with the jalapenos. Now, but I'm different. Listen, I don't like just straight jalapenos. I like them pickled. If I'm going to take a straight jalapeno, I'm putting cream cheese in that joker, wrapping it around a piece of wrapping it inside some deer tenderloin, putting some bacon on top of that, a lot of pepper and salt, and I'm throwing it on fire. My mouth's watering thinking about all this stuff right now. I haven't eaten lunch yet. I know this is the lunch break, but you guys, I don't eat lunch until after this thing. I remember my dad getting chicken livers to catfish with when I was little, never wanted to eat one after that. That's all I've ever fished with. Seriously, to this day. What other food out there? And I know guys do it with hot dogs, but you can have your little cast iron right beside you. Chicken liver, throw it out there, put your line down, waiting for that catfish, throw a couple in there, fry them up. It's great. It's fantastic. But anyway, all right. So now I'm hungry. I got a 2-hour show tonight. I've done almost a 2-hour show here. You guys tonight, I'll say It's a 2 hour and 37 drive from me to you right now. If it weren't for my daughter's meet the teacher in a few hours, I'd bring that shad. I will bring one next week. So Aaron Parker, hey, listen, what you need to do, well, I'd put you home really late. But if you can, anybody's always welcome to be on the live well or sit back behind us. Yes, I've had candy jalapenos, Fred Ashcraft, and they ought to be illegal. They're good. Jonah, chicken livers are good. I ain't crazy about beef liver, but I'll eat chicken liver. I heard beef liver works better because it's tougher and doesn't fall off the hook better. That's why I don't eat beef liver. It's a little tough. And I don't really like chicken gizzards, but I love chicken livers. So anyway, guys, tonight, 8 o'clock, Dylan Filardo, talking tackle, just qualified for the Bassmaster Classic. He's going to be our guest tonight on the live well, 8 p.m. Then on Thursday night, I got Matt O'Connell. He's up and coming in the pro ranks. They throw cast. If you follow cast fishing, you know both of them. He's going to be in. And then the following Tuesday, I got a couple of these young cats, these young guns from Gunnersville that are going to be on. We got some great guests coming up. I talked to somebody earlier about Seth Fighter. Seth Fighter is going to come on the podcast. I'm just letting him get done with all that. So join us tonight at 8 o'clock. If you can't join us tonight, join us again here tomorrow. Are you going to bring it during lunch break because you don't want to have to drive that home, having to get up at 4 a.m.? All right, we'll do that. We'll figure out a way to keep it fresh until the show, Aaron Parker. But you come see me. You might want to reach out to me on Facebook, make sure I'm here and I'm not off filming somewhere before you make that drive. So let's make sure we contact each other. Traveling Fisherman definitely will be there night. Man, listen, I absolutely enjoy when I see guys coming in, but I love it when guys come back. You're part of the fam now. You're a heck of a long way away from us, but you're part of the fam. So anyway, you guys come on back tonight, 8 o'clock. If not, see you tomorrow at 12. Who knows what we'll talk about? I'm just saving my show notes for today for tomorrow. But Lord knows we probably won't talk about them tomorrow either. So, guys, I've enjoyed it. You've made my day a heck of a lot better just being around you guys, getting to know you. We will see you on the next one. Peace out. I'm going to get rid of my YouTube guys first. We'll see you guys. Alex might join us tonight. You better be there. Robert Robleski, let's talk about massages. Maybe tonight we will. Maybe tonight. You never know. You guys be good. We'll see you. All right, you guys.